focus on quantity rather than quality, and ulta bol diya.
Hi guys.
Welcome to our channel, the BaeSlay way. So this is our first segment on the placement interview experience, and the company that we're targeting today is Avaya.
Let's quickly walk through the process of Avaya. The profile is software developer. The CTC that they are offering is 12.0 for LPA. It is in two phases. One is online test, other is interview rounds. The online test consists of three sections. One is apti, second is technical, third is coding. Now in technical, there are topics related to CN, DBMS, OS, object-oriented programming, and data structures. And coding, there are 4 questions. 3 questions has to be solved in 15 minutes. 1 question has to be solved in 30 minutes. Now coming to the interview round, we have called one of our friend who has been selected in Avaya, and we will be discussing the interview experience with him.
Okay, so firstly, I'd like to welcome Shebin to our channel.
He has successfully cracked the placement process for Avaya back in August 2020. So without any further delay, let's start with the interview experience. What motivated you to apply for this company?
So basically, the JD provided by the company was software development, and it is an area which really interests me. So that's why that was one of the main reasons that motivated me to apply to this company.
Okay. What was your initial preparation like for the rounds before the interview?
So basically, there were 3 sections, and that this pattern is usually followed in most of the companies. So the first one was aptitude, and the second was technical, and the third was coding session. So this was basically an online test, and for the aptitude round, the questions were basically from related to time work or pipe system type of problems, which are not too tough, and you will be able to crack them if you solve a few examples. And the second section was the technical round, and I didn't prepare specifically for this round, as most of the questions were from the college syllabus. And the third round was the coding round, and I used to solve 1 or 2 questions daily and I had been doing this for a month or 2. And C++ was the first language that I used, and I was pretty well acquainted with it, so I could crack those rounds pretty easily.
Okay, so for the coding round, you mentioned that you practiced questions daily. So are there any websites that you can suggest where people can go and solve questions?
Yeah, for the coding round, first of all, I would suggest any individual to select any one programming language as their preferred language and focus on getting thorough with it, like using all the libraries and the inbuilt libraries. Then for the problem solving part, there are many websites like HackerRank and HackerRun. You can take up 1 or 2 coding questions, and slowly you'll improve in your problem solving skills. And there is another site called LiQWYD, which have a variety of questions and which will definitely help you improve in problem solving through coding. And for the aptitude questions, those are basically math problems, and you have a lot of content on the YouTube, which really helped me to crack that round. And also there were sessions conducted in our college, aptitude sessions conducted, which were pretty helpful for me.
Coming to the question that how was your interview and what type of questions were asked to you?
So the interview rounds, there were 3 rounds. First was the technical round. The second was a mixture of HR and technical, and the third round was purely technical round.
Okay.
And starting with the first round, the technical round, they asked, first of all, they started with 2 coding questions, and therein they uh, to ask me to come up with an algorithm for those questions, and uh, they were expecting an optimal solution in terms of time and space complexity. And after that, most of the questions were core computer science based questions, like OOPS concepts or data structures or Java based questions. And the remaining questions were based on the resume. Now, this was about the first round. Then on the next day, I had my second round, that is HR plus technical. And the technical questions were scenario based, like in case of operating system, if the system is loaded with a lot of resources, then what would you do? What all commands would you use if you are working on a Linux, etc. And few questions were related to cloud computing, as I had mentioned it in my resume. Then the uh, HR person asked me only one question, that is, why do you want to join Avaya? And I could answer that well because I had done a good amount of background research about the company and the technologies on which the company works. So I could answer it well, and I could clear that round. And then the last round was the HR round, purely HR round, and the interviewer was very friendly, and he just asked some basic HR type questions and some basic resume based questions. That's it.
Okay. So for this, I guess the second round was pretty, it sounded pretty tough. Like you
Yeah.
mentioned the scenario-based technical questions. From where did you like prepare for those type of questions?
So I had to, uh, you know, use all the knowledge of the uh, things that I had learned so far through the college coursework, and then apply it in real time. That is on the question that he asked. So I wasn't prepared for that question. Like he also asked me what is the difference between the Google Docs on cloud and the MS Word that you use. So it is the basic difference is MS Word uses your system's resources, and Google Docs is something which runs on the cloud. So I wasn't prepared for these questions, but I had to apply the concepts and then come up with a solution.
So, any questions that you asked to them, and what was the overall vibe of the recruiter, that HR person and the technical person?
I would say the HR person was very friendly, rather as compared to the other recruiters. And as far as the final question, I thought of keeping it very simple. I just asked him on what technology he works, and on what technology that I would be working on if I would be joining the company. That's all.
So, any tip for our juniors currently studying in third year or second year?
So uh, for any computer science student who is uh, trying to crack an interview, so I would suggest them to focus on these four things. So it is basically a summary of the entire experience, my interview experience that I've shared just now. So first of all, the aptitude round. Second is the technical round, and which is basically the college syllabus stuff. The third is a coding round, which you need to practice and practice on the websites that I mentioned. That is HackerRank, HackerEarth, LeetCode,
Mm-hmm.
etc. And the fourth point is very important. That is building a resume. Uh, you can start working on projects and focus on quality over quantity. And you can also list down the courses that you have taken up. And nowadays, as we all know, it has become very easy to earn a certificate. So I would recommend that not just listing down those courses in your resume, you can also uh, take up those concepts and apply them on a few of our projects so that the recruiter understands that you have recruiter knows that you have understood the concept. And the final point that I would like to mention is participating in college level competitions, hackathons, and other events. And you should not participate just for the sake of participation, because irrespective of the outcome, it is the knowledge and the experience that you gain is what matters in the end.
Exactly.
Mm,
But
yes.
I guess you've also won the Smart India Hackathon twice, right?
Yes, he's twice winner,
Yeah,
2019 and
even
2020 as well.
So there'll be a separate
yeah,
video
even you.
for that coming out, guys.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
So I guess that's it for today. Thank you for coming in and sharing your experience with us. I hope our audience also finds it very useful, and whatever tips that you suggested, I hope that it helps people to crack the interview process for Avaya.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shebin.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
So guys, with this we come to an end of our first video, and I hope that the tips Shebin gave us were very helpful to you. Please show us some support by hitting on the like, share and subscribe button.